Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach, and welcome back to my crochet channel. Today's video, we're going to do the Hipster Cotton lacy cowl, and it can also be a scarf. It's a great project for making something for spring, summer, or fall, or if you live in a warmer climate, when you want to add just a pop of color to your outfit. I also wanted to show you how the Hipster Cotton looks when it's stitched up. And it has this beautiful sort of watercolor effect that's almost a tie-dye look to the yarn. Now this yarn here is called Hello Hydrangea, and that's what we're going to be using for today's project. And I think you're really going to enjoy this because it's also a study in V stitches, because it goes from half double crochet V stitches to double crochets to triple crochet V stitches, alternating every 2 rows. And so it makes a nice open and lacy pattern, but not something that's going to get you bored. You're going to keep repeating those rows and it will turn out just gorgeous. And I love the randomness of it. The colors are beautiful and random. The stitches are sort of random, but also controlled. And I just wanted to put this together because I wanted you to see how the Hipster Cotton from Premiere works. It's an absolutely gorgeous yarn. Now, you can find this crochet pattern and information on the Hipster Cotton and how to order it on my blog. And there'll be pictures, of course, along with the written pattern. And as always, you'll find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. And so all you need to make one of these hipster lacy cotton scarves is a skein of Hipster Cotton. Now the length of it is totally up to you, but one of these skeins has 229 yards or 3.5 ounces. And I'm going to be making mine relatively long, but I am a short person. So if you're taller, you may want to make it longer, or you may want to wrap it around twice and go ahead and use up the whole Hipster Cotton. It's up to you, again, the length you want to make. It does measure about 7 inches across. All right. But again, you can squish that up. I mean, it's just going to be super versatile scarf. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5mm crochet hook. You need a needle just to weave in ends and a pair of scissors. So this is a great take-along project. You're going on vacation, take it with you and you can work on it in the car, in the plane, in the RV, or just in your hotel room when you have a spare minute. Take one that'll match your outfit and make it on the way. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin with our slip knot, and we're going to loosely chain 22 chains. And the reason we want to do this just a little bit loose is we're going to be joining the ends together if we're going to make it into a cowl. And if we're not and it's a scarf, we still don't want one end all puckered up, all right? So we're just going to loosely chain 22 chains. I have chained 22 chains a little bit loose, and we're going to begin by placing a half double crochet and the second chain from the hook. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. And now we're just going to place 1 half double crochet in each of those chains, working all the way across. And as you work this chain, if you see that it's puckering up, you may have stitched your chain too tightly. You want this to be a nice flat row. You don't want it curving. You want it to lay nice and flat. I started in the second chain from the hook, and we stitched a half double crochet in each chain across, so we have 21 half double crochets. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now we're going to place a half double crochet in the first 2 half double crochets. Our chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so there's 1 and 2. All right, now we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip 2, and we're going to place a V-stitch, which is a half double crochet V-stitch. So we'll go in that next stitch, and we'll stitch a half double crochet, a chain 1, and a half double crochet. That's our half double crochet V-stitch. So we'll chain 2, skip 2, and stitch a half double crochet V-stitch in the next. Which again is a half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, half double crochet V-stitch in the next. Chain 2, skip 2, half double crochet, V-stitch in the next. Chain 2, and this brings us to having 4 stitches left, and we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our V-stitches. All right, so we have 4 stitches left. We're going to chain 2, skip 2, and then half double crochet in those last 2 stitches. And chain 1. All right, let's take a look at it. We have 2 half double crochets, chain 2, skip 2, and then the half double crochet V-stitch. And we repeated that across, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 V-stitches with the chain 2s in between. And then we chain 2, skip 2, and 2 half double crochets, 1 in each of the last 2. And that's the way that row 2 should look. Now for row 3, we've chained 1. We're going to turn our work, and we're basically just going to repeat what we've done. We're going to half double crochet in those first 2 stitches. We're going to chain 2. Whoops. Got a little splitty there. Let's fix that. There we go. Now we're going to go to the chain 1 space of our half double crochet V-stitch and stitch a half double crochet V-stitch. And chain 2. And then we'll repeat this across in those half double crochet V-stitch chain 1 spaces. So chain 2, half double crochet V-stitch in the chain 1 space. There we go. Chain 2 and repeat across in all 5 of those chain 1 spaces of our V-stitches. All right, so now I'm in the last one. There's my last half double crochet V-stitch, chain 2, and then 1 half double crochet in those last 2 stitches. There we go. And this time we're going to chain 3. All right. So the row 2 and row 3, we have half double crochet V-stitches with our chain 2s in between and 2 half double crochets at the beginning and 2 at the end of the row. And then at the end of row 3, we chained 3. And that's because row 4 we're going to be doing double crochets. All right, let's do row 4. We've chained 3. Now on row 4, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. So we're going to double crochet in that next half double crochet. Chain 2. And then we're going to make a double crochet V-stitch in that first chain 1 space. Chain 1, double crochet. And see, that makes a taller V-stitch. And so we'll repeat this across, making our double crochets. Chain 1, double crochet, which is our double crochet V-stitch, in each of the chain 1 spaces of our half double crochet V-stitches. And again, we're chaining 2 in between each of the V-stitches. So you're going to hear me say V-stitch a bunch because this entire project is mostly V-stitches, half double crochets, and triple V-stitches. I also recommend that you stitch this just a little bit loose so you get that lacy appearance. All right, there's my last chain 2 after my last V-stitch, and then I'll place a double crochet in those 2 half double crochets. Get in there. There we go. All right, now we're going to chain 3 again because we're going to do another row of double crochet V-stitches. So we've chained 3. We're going to turn our work. Again, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, so we'll double crochet in that next double crochet and chain 2. And then again, we're going to place our double crochet V-stitches in the chain 1 spaces of the V-stitches and chain 2 in between. And we'll do this across. There we go. Chain 2, V-stitch in the V-stitch. Chain 2 and repeat. Chain 2. Here's my last double crochet V-stitch on this row. Chain 2 and then 1 double crochet in those last 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. All right, this time we're going to chain 4 because our next 2 rows are going to be triple stitches. All right, but let's look at what we've got so far. Here's our row of half double crochets. Then we did half double crochet V-stitches, 2 rows, and then we did double crochet V-stitches, 2 rows. You still have 2 double crochets at the beginning or 2 stitches depending on what rows you're on. And then we did 5 V-stitches and then our chain 2s in between with our 2 double crochets at the end. So we have 2 rows of half double crochet V-stitches and 2 rows of double crochet V-stitches. Our next 2 rows are going to be triple V-stitches. All right, so on row 6, we are going to turn our work because we chained 4, and that 4 counts as our first triple stitch. So now we're going to place a triple in that double crochet. So 2 wraps on your hook, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the second 2, yarn over, and go through the third 2. That is a triple. We're going to chain 2, and now we're going to go to the chain 1 space of our V-stitch and stitch a triple V-stitch. So triple, chain 1, and triple in the chain 1 space of the V-stitch and chain 2. So see how much taller our V-stitch is on that row? All right, and this is why I called this a study in V-stitches. because we're doing 3 different size V stitches. And I really love how the play of it really makes the scarf really pretty and have a lacy appearance, but not too lacy that it's too fancy. So I'm working across, stitching a triple V stitch in each of those 5 chain 1 spaces of the previous row of V stitches, which were double crochet V stitches. Whoops, got a little splitty there. Let's do that one again. Cotton can be a little splitty sometimes. All right, there's my last triple V stitch. So I'm going to place 1 triple in those last 2 double crochets. There we go. All righty, and now I'm going to chain 4 again, because I'm going to do a second row of triples. But let's take a look at that so you can see how that looks. All right, so we've got 2 half double crochet rows, 2 double crochets, we've got 1 triple, and we're going to do 1 more. All right, let's do row 7. Again, we've chained 4. We're going to stitch a triple in that second triple stitch because our chain 4 counts as our first. Chain 2, and now we're just going to place a triple V stitch in each of the chain 1 spaces of the V stitches, which again is a triple, chain 1, and triple stitch. Some people call the triple stitch a treble stitch. Both are correct. It's just a preference. Chain 2, triple V stitch in the next. There we go. Trying to keep that yarn a little bit loose and still have consistent tension. That's the trick when you're working with something that you want to be just a little bit lacy. Alrighty, chain 2. Here's our last triple V stitch on this row. Chain 1, triple, chain 2. Oh, we got us a little snag there. Hang on. Alrighty. So we've chained 2. We want to stitch a triple in the last 2 triple stitches. 1 and 2. And only chain 1. Okay. Now let's take a look at it again. So we have a row of half double crochets, then we have 2 rows of half double crochet V stitches, 2 rows of double crochet V stitches, and 2 rows of triple crochet V stitches. And so now for row 8, we're going to go back to doing our half double crochets like these 2 rows, and we'll do 2 rows of those. You'll always have 2 stitches at the beginning and end, and you'll always have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 V stitches. They'll just change as we alternate every 2 rows. So we've completed the first 7 rows. We're going to chain 1 after those 2 triple rows, and that's because we're going back to our half double crochet rows. All right, so we're going to half double crochet in the first triple because the chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Then we'll half double crochet in the next triple. Chain 2, and so now we'll go to that next chain 1 space and stitch a half double crochet V stitch. So half double crochet, chain 1, and half double crochet. and then we'll just repeat this across. All right, and then we'll repeat exactly what we've done for 2 rows, so that we'll have 2 rows of half double crochet like we do down here. So what I did next is I stitched 2 half double crochets, chain 2, half double crochet, chain 2 in each of those chain 2 spaces, chain 2, 1 half double crochet in the last 2. Then I chained 1 and turned and repeated what I just did. So I have 2 rows of half double crochet just like I do down here. All right, so then I chained 3, and what we're going to do next is repeat what we did here, which is to double crochet in the next half double crochet, chain 2, and then repeat what we did here, so that we have 2 rows of double crochet V-stitches. So I completed row 10 and 11 that is exactly like the 2 double crochet rows we did down here. All right, so we repeated 2 half double crochet V-stitch rows and 2 double crochet V-stitch rows. At the end of our second double crochet V-stitch row, we did a chain 4 instead of a chain 3, and that's because we're going to do 2 of these triple rows. The first chain 4 counts as our triple, and then we're going to triple in the next, chain 2, and then we're going to stitch a triple V-stitch in each of the chain 1 spaces of our double crochets, and chain 2. So we're going to repeat 2 rows of triple V-stitches just like we did right here. So I completed those 2 rows of triple V-stitches with the chain 2s in between, 2 triples at the beginning and end of our rows. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to continue to repeat 2 rows of half double crochets, 2 rows of double crochet, 2 rows of triple, all V-stitches except the ends, of course, and you're going to continue to repeat. That's row 8 through row 13 for 8 more repeats, or 8 more times. If you want it longer, you can continue to repeat it as long as you want. If you don't want it to be very long, then don't do very many repeats. I'm going to repeat this 8 more times. So I'm going to repeat row 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 8 more times. I repeated row 8 through 13 8 more times, and I really love the play on this yarn, how beautiful it is. To me, it just looks like watercolor or tie-dye. It's just gorgeous. All right, so you have 3 different options on finishing up your scarf or cowl. You can do a row of half double crochet, which we're going to do for all 3 styles, and then you have a nice scarf. Okay, but if you want to put them together and make a cowl, or maybe a twisted cowl, which is called an infinity scarf, either way, we're going to do a row of half double crochet and then join the ends together. All right, and then I'll show you how to make that into a cowl or a infinity scarf. So depending on whether you want to make a scarf, a cowl, or an infinity scarf, we have 1 more row to do. So like I was saying, whether you're wanting to do a scarf or a cowl or an infinity scarf, we still have to do 1 more row for all 3 styles. All right, so after our last triple stitch row, we chained 1. We're going to half double crochet in those first 2 stitches. We're going to place 2 half double crochets in that chain 2 space around that chain 2. Then we'll skip over to the chain 1 space and stitch a half double crochet in the chain 1 space. All right, and then we'll repeat this across. 2 half double crochets in the chain 2 space, 1 half double crochet in the chain 1 space. And this will give us a nice finish, whether we're doing a scarf or an infinity scarf or a cowl. So I've repeated that across. 2 half double crochets in that last chain 2 space, and then 1 half double crochet in those last 2 triple stitches. Now again, if you're just making a scarf, you can go ahead and tie off and weave in your ends, and you have a nice scarf with a row of half double crochet at the beginning and the end. And make sure you weave this end in as well. But if you want to make this into a cowl, you're going to want to put the 2 ends together, and you're going to want to slip stitch those together. But if you want to have a infinity, and what that is a scarf with a twist, you're going to want to take this and twist it and stitch that together like that. Either way is perfect. They're both really pretty, and a regular scarf is as well. I don't want a twist in mine. I want mine just to hang flat. So I'm going to turn it over and stitch my ends together. All right, so what we're going to do is I've chained 1, and we're going to go through each stitch on each side. That tail out of the way there, and we're just going to slip stitch them together, just working all the way across, stitching a slip stitch. And this will be the inside of your scarf. The way we stitch this scarf, it doesn't matter which side is the inside or the outside until we make a seam like we're doing here. All right, and so we want this little seam where we're doing our slip stitches to be on the inside of our scarf. All right, and whether you made that little twist or not, we're just slip stitching them together very simply all the way across. So I've slip stitched the ends together. I'm going to cut my yarn and tie that off. And I have 2 ends here to weave in, where I started and where I ended my cowl. I like a project like this. I mean, I love to do scrap happy projects where we have lots of color changes, but I also love a striping yarn like this that does the color changing for you. Then you don't have as many ends to weave in. And make sure you do weave this in securely, because you don't want your scarf to come undone while you're out having fun. All righty. So I've stitched it together. I've got my ends all weaved in and tidied up. I'm going to flip this over. There's the seam. And now I have a beautiful lacy cowl that's going to look beautiful with jeans, jean skirt, jean shorts, bathing suit, whatever I want for this summer. Isn't that beautiful? The yarn and the stitch are perfectly matched together. It's my new favorite cowl.